Wade begins his Kentucky hunt driving to a stand that George from Salt River Outfitters has named the Honey Hole.
So my setup is at the Honey Hole. How could you not love this stand? I've got my hawk stand is there and I'm looking out straight ahead. The cameraman is gonna be right behind me. I've got a bow hanger right here. You've got soybeans planted all around, and the thing about these soybeans is there's no beans left on them. When you go in a bean field and there's no beans left on them, the deer have ate everything. And it was amazing how much they'd ate. Everything's set up. We've got a perfect wind. I can feel it hitting me here. Going down that valley. This little ridge of soybeans right here, you know, you can tell it's a popular area. There's an old rifle stand down here to our right, and George has a lot of history on this farm. Says it's one of his favorite places, and obviously got a lot of deer coming through here. He said they're going to come from 360 degrees, so got to kind of keep our head on our swivel, or really our eyes on a swivel. It's a good tip for new hunters to be thinking about not necessarily turning your head, turn your eyes. Use your eyes to find the deer without, you know, moving like that all the time to eliminate some movement. So we're going to settle in there and see what happens. It's Kentucky. Early season, it's actually opening day here in Kentucky when we're filming this. Temperatures are about 82. Chance of rain a little bit after dark. Excitement level is through the roof.
What makes this week so special is it's our velvet week. They're in their summer patterns. They're still worried about food. You know, that's all they're geared for right now is eating. A lot of people get tied up in wanting to hunt the rut, but honestly, I believe that when the deer are more patternable, that September month, that's what makes this week special. When we're trying to set up and hunt these deer, you have to put everything in your favor. If you can get the deer to come to a spot to where you can play the wind and you're absolutely sure these deer cannot circle downwind of you, in early season, you're setting yourself up for success. So we try to set our stands up to where your scent's gonna be blowing into a wide open pasture that the deer shouldn't be in, or blowing across the river. You know, a lot of times in these river bottoms, I try to set my stands up and hunt with wind blowing across that river so the deer can't really get in the river and get downwind of you.
So my first night in the stand was really a good hunt in a lot of ways. We saw a few deer, got acclimated, what was coming in, got busted. Some deer, you know, like basically got away from us, and you know, got right under the stand and spooked. But I knew I wanted to go back to that stand, and there was no question in George's mind that's where I needed to go back to.
Well, Wade is heading back on the afternoon of day 2 in hopes of seeing some of the big deer that are known to be in the area.
We parked way down in a holler below us. We hiked up the hill. I lost my breath climbing up that hill too. It was pretty steep. And once we got up into the stand and got settled in, we settled in about 5 o'clock knowing that it was gonna be about 7:45. And as we're sitting there and looking off to the right up a little hill, there's a gate there that kind of is where the gun stand that they have set up right here. And it's real shady there. And there's a few deer coming out, feeding there, eating some soybeans, milling around. And as I sat there, I mean, you could see a couple of big bucks. I mean, big bucks. you know, as the afternoon goes on, it's very common when the shade kind of comes into the area, more and more deer filter in, and I can tell Jeff's mood up there. I mean, dude, he's like, I can't see whatever he's seeing, but he is like locked on. I can watch his little hands up there focusing, and his eyes are getting big, and he's seeing heads popping up there, and I'm peeking through the leaves, and finally I start seeing heads popping up here and there. And I mean, I'm watching what's going down and what's coming and everything, and sure enough, it became I don't know how many bucks came through there that night. I mean, 10, 15, 20, 25. If somebody told me any of those numbers, I'd just go, yeah. But it was just a parade, and it was like, no, yes, no, man, look at that one, he's a giant. And then all of a sudden, here comes a big 10-point into frame, and I was ready.
We smoked him. Go down right there. Go down. Go down. Go down right there. Go down, buddy. Go down right there. Go down. What a buck. Right there. What a buck. What a buck. What a buck. We smoked him. Total pass there, right there. He's gonna go down right there. I'm telling you right now, that'll shake you up. Boy, that was a giant bachelor group of bucks right there that come in. That's a big 10-point still in velvet.
You know, after I got that shot off, I mean, I was just beyond excited. I mean, you know, total pass through, felt like I had made a perfect shot. Deer kicked, and he was running off, and I keep like, he's gonna fall over dead right there. And he just stops and stands there, and he stands there, and he stands there, and he stands there. And we talked about technology before. I mean, technology is, I mean, I'm shooting a phenomenal setup, but I mean, my deer's still alive at this point. And now that your mind is gonna, it's the process of hunting that's hard. Starts going through all these emotions and changes, and the deer kind of disappears down into the timber and brush. And so we eased out. We got out of there right away.
So we backed out, went back and watched the video. The deer's quartering a little bit towards me. I'm perfectly behind the shoulder in the crease right there, but he's quartering a little bit towards me. And so my arrow's exiting out and back a little bit. So we gave him time, literally about 3 hours. Got Michael and Steve and Jeff with me. We're gonna go up here where we last saw him, see what kind of sign we can find. I know there's coyotes in this area, so we're gonna give it a shot to recover it, and that'll keep the meat in good shape. That's one of the toughest things to do in hunting is wait, because when you bump or jump a deer like that, you put yourself in a bind. People are going to be going, why are you whispering? Why are you whispering right now? Well, that deer very well may just be right up here 100, 125 yards. So I want to set the stage, talk about what we're going to do. We're going to go up there and give it a look. Hopefully we're going to find him piled up right there. And if not, it's very likely we may back out because that deer's gonna die. I mean, that's immortal. He's not living through that hit right there. But we want to do what's best by the deer. So. A little gut. So, I mean, that's definitely gut right there. And you look at the way he was turned. Yeah, he's quartering slightly towards me, so that makes sense on what we saw, what that deer was doing. Now it's all about decisions. I mean, this is where that deer stood and stood and stood right here for a long time, and this is where I thought he was just going to fall over at the time. But he never fell over. He slowly worked his way down that direction there. But I mean, you look at that. I mean, that's a lot of blood. I mean, I've seen. You just never know. I mean, this is a deer that's going to expire. We've just got to decide what to do. It's always a tough choice. You know, he obviously quit bleeding, and he's not running to die, as I like to call it. He's working his way down into here, and he's gonna bed down.
We're joining back up with Wade at the scene to continue the search for his whitetail that he shot the previous evening.
You know, the hardest part to me about deer hunting with a bow, really anything, is you know, after the shot, what happens, the decisions you make. And you know, yesterday my arrow, I mean, you can see it goes right through him. I mean, great kick. You can see the hole as where the broadhead went in, but it's going back as it goes in. You know, I want to go up into that body cavity. When you're going up into that body cavity or through that body cavity where the vitals are, it's a guaranteed killing shot right then. When you're going back away from that, you know, the cavity where the vitals are, a lot of things come in. As we watched the video and then, you know, saw what we saw, you can see there's a little bit of guts on the front of this arrow. So, and when they're turned like that, and I mean, it's ever so slightly, but shot placement's everything. You can have the best technology in the world. You can have, you know, everything go your way, but shot placement is still a human thing. I mean, it's just what it is. And really, I'm not disappointed with my shot angle. I'm just disappointed that I didn't catch it. He was just at that slight angle that causes my arrow to go back instead of straight through or straight up in. We came back out about 3.5 hours. You know, knew exactly, obviously, where he'd been standing for a long time. Piles of blood there, a little bit there, but you know, he obviously walked off and bedded down. The cover down in this particular ravine here is really tall. We made the decision about midnight to get out of there, and now it's, you know, 7:30 morning, sun's just come up. We've got a posse of people to go down there and look and see what we can find. I don't think we're going to find a whole lot of blood. I think the cover down in there is going to be hard to find drops to the dirt. Grass is going to be real tall. We're going to have to find where he probably bedded down. I think he probably bedded down really close. So you got to be optimistic, and you're going to put the time in now to find your deer as anybody will. We come back in the morning and we just, I mean, literally, we lost everything fast. The emotions that you go through are brutal. You begin to doubt everything. Man, that's just a bad feeling, just a bad feeling. Jeff being Jeff, I don't know how he does this sometimes. He's just got part deer in him. He's wandering around and he finds where this deer bed's down, and so we kind of halfway get back on the track, but we decide that, you know, at this point here, it's going to be best to go ahead and call in a dog. So we called a dog, and the first dog comes out, and he's just kind of on a Sunday stroll, never really gets anything. And then the second dog we get out, he's got a little more pep in his step, man. We get him out, he's immediately, your morale goes up just based on his demeanor and his attitude and his chasing. So as we dig deeper into our track, I mean, we're hours and hours and hours into this, and basically reality has set in that your eyes are rolling back in your head, and the knot in your stomach is getting tighter, and your palms are sweating, and it's just not looking good at this point. I know this deer's got a lethal hit, but we haven't been able to find him. The grid searches are going on and everything that you go through. And we're kind of dispersing to go back when one of the guys with the tracking dogs, I mean, all of a sudden he makes this yell, and I'm like, there is no way. There is no way. But yes, there was a way. He had found that deer about 200 yards from where we kind of thought that he should be, but we hadn't found him, and he had died in the creek, and the dog's going nuts, and I'm going nuts. We don't even have a camera. We're filming it with our phone at this point because we have hiked and hiked and hiked, and we're down to the phone, you know, 20 hours into this epic adventure, and you talk about how fast your stomach unknots and everything feels instantly better, and you can look at where the arrow went in, and there's just some of these deer just are tougher than boots, and they just have a will to live, and this was one of those. But we got him, we recovered him, and I just couldn't be more tickled pink to everything that went on. Another successful trip here at Salt River Outfitters, and George Cummins, and all the people in camp, all the people that I hunt with. I mean, what an epic adventure that talks about technology in the old school bourbon country here, and a big deer, and how everybody comes together to make it all end with a happy note.